Hey, what's up guys, this is Anthony from AnthonysCustoms, and for this video, I'm going to be showing you all of the new reveals for import figures from New York Toy Fair and WonFes, the Winter WonFes. Now, I wasn't at either of these things, so I found the images for you guys, and I've compiled them here. I'll put some links in the description for the places I got them from if you want to check them out further. The first one is a new 4-inch now Mega Man. Now, I'm not familiar with these alternate versions of Mega Man other than the originals, but I know a lot of people are really excited for these, and they look like they're pretty good figures. They're going to match up pretty nicely with the existing 4-inch now figures, so I think it's a good thing. Those figures have been pretty solid thus far, so I can only assume that these are going to be equally good. And they do seem to share at least some parts from existing figures, so I think that's a good thing. There are some alternate accessories and things that aren't necessarily going to be in all of these photos, and I think that's the case for these guys also. But since I'm not that familiar with the source material for these Mega Man figures, I can't say for sure. The next one is the Masterpiece Dinobot. This might be my most anticipated figure of all time. I love Dinobot, and the Masterpiece Optimus Primal was just fantastic, albeit a little bit overpriced. This guy looks really good, and last time they showed one, the photos were actually of the figure, so that silhouette looks just dandy. I'm super excited about this, guys. And then the next one is a Masterpiece Megatron, which actually looks good. The previous Megatron had really skinny legs, and I wasn't really into it. And this one looks like a very, very solid figure. So it looks like, as you can see behind it, it's going to line up with the previous release of the Masterpiece Optimus Prime figure. So can't really go wrong with a nice new Megatron. Next up, we have the Kaio-Ken version of Goku, which is going to be an exclusive of some sort. I'm not sure where they're actually going to be selling this, if it's only through the Premium Bandai website or what. I don't know, it's just a repaint of the existing Goku, which is not the best mold in the world, so I can't get too excited about it, especially if it's going to cost a lot due to the exclusivity. Then here we can see Nappa and Vegeta, the new mold for Vegeta, which looks great, and Nappa, which looks great, and of course Cell, but he's already on his way out. The other two still don't have dates. It just says display only, so it's very disappointing to not have any info on these yet, but they keep showing them, which makes me think we're going to eventually get them, and I'm just really hoping for that. Here you can see Cammy from the SH Figuarts Street Fighter V line of figures, and she looks really good. Even in that solid gray model, she's got all kinds of detail. It's very game accurate from what I can tell. Obviously, I don't have the game because it sucked and it was a PlayStation exclusive, but the figure looks really good. I have to say, she might be the best looking out of the bunch. Ryu does look a little bit skinny, and Chun-Li looks pretty good, but Cammy here, maybe perfect? I don't know, she's got loads of sculpt detail, and I can only assume the paint's going to match. I am a little bit worried about her knees though. As you can see, you cannot see the joint from the front, which means when you bend them, there may be serious gapping issues, or maybe just sculpt issues. We don't know for sure yet, but otherwise it looks really good. You can see all the buckles and things, and the seam between the thighs and the hips and the waist area, that's all seamless almost. It looks really good. So as long as the posability is good with that, she might be the best one of the bunch. She looks fantastic, so I'm very excited about that. Next up, you can see Rashid, which is a new character from Street Fighter V, which I have no interest in just because he's a new character, and I don't care. I want the classics. That being said, it does look like he's going to be a really good figure. Assuming that the waist part isn't too limited for the hips, I think he's going to be a pretty nice piece. So I'm looking forward to it, just not anywhere near as much as I could be. Here you can see the Shredder from the cartoon Ninja Turtles line. The Turtles have turned out to be really nice, and Shredder looks to be really nice also. I really like the proportions. The chest is nice and big, the arms are nice and like they're bulky looking, he's not skinny, so that's really cool. The colors are nice, the metallics are really shiny, so that's a good thing. But here's what I'm worried about. That head looks a little weird, and maybe that's why we don't have any more information on this guy yet. Maybe they're still tooling it and working on it. The face just looks like a block of plastic inside a helmet that doesn't quite fit on it. So hopefully they can get that worked out, because that will detract from the figure significantly. And then the really bulky cape around the neck is also a bit of an issue, so hopefully that all gets sorted. Next up, you can see the Revoltech Wolverine, which I have to say, I think it looks fantastic. The shoulders are hidden perfectly, so even if they have those lousy joints in there, the shoulder pads hide it. His proportions look really good. He looks very stylized and animalistic, and just like Marvel vs. Capcom Wolverine. So I'm very excited for this, despite the fact that it's Revoltech, so don't say I'm a very biased person. Same thing goes for Spider-Gwen, another Revoltech figure which looks great. Even in her standing pose, she looks pretty normal. Maybe the shoulders are a little out of whack, but The rest of her looks perfect in her standing pose. Now, will that be the case once she actually comes out and once we have her in hand? That's hard to say, but at least the paints look good on the prototype and the posability looks good. However, you can see on the left there that her knees will look pretty ugly once they're posed, and that's generally the case with the Revos. So I don't know. I don't want to be against it yet because it looks so good, but I have a feeling that that indication on the left is going to be indicative of the rest of the articulation. Here you can see some Super Action Statue JoJo's figures. I don't know their names. I didn't feel like looking them up, and it's been a while since I started learning Japanese, and I took a break, so I can't read the cards that well, so I'm just going to let you guys go with the names. But they look really good. You guys know the SAS figures for JoJo's have been, for the most part, really solid. These guys look like they are going to just be the same type of thing. Really good. This one's one of my favorites. I don't know anything about the character, but I like the character design a whole bunch, so I'm really looking forward to seeing painted models of these guys. I know it's kind of cool to see the solid gray prototypes for a lot of these figures, and I think it would be even cool if we got some exclusives of that kind of thing, but they don't generally do that. But I like it, but these things are known for having really nice paint jobs, and you're going to see here right after this one, there's one more to show you, and it's really cool looking, because it is actually painted. But these guys look like, if you're a JoJo's fan, you have a lot to look forward to. I still haven't gotten into the anime. I'm going to do it eventually. I'm going to give it a shot. You guys keep telling me to, so I'm going to take your word for it. But these guys look like really good figures, so I think you guys are going to be pretty happy. And here's the painted one. Look at all of that detail. And yes, it's a prototype, so it's probably a little bit cleaner than it will be for final production, but they're generally pretty good. And that guy's just got the little beads and the straps and just a nice shading and sculpt and proportions. It's going to be a lot of fun to have. So hopefully I'll be reviewing that for you guys. And you guys have a lot to look forward to if you're JoJo's fans. Here you can see the Variable Action Heroes Luffy from the Past Blue line, which is basically just a bunch of the One Piece figures that are going to be made in their pre-time skip outfits and styles, basically based on the War of the Greats, or is that what it's called? War of the Best? The Marineford arc, anyway. They're going to look like that. So here's Luffy in his yellow tank top. Very excited about that. We get Perona. That's going to be really cool, though she's not that main of a character, so it's a little interesting that they're making her. But she's pretty cool, and it'll be a really cool figure, I think. She's got a nice character design, and she's kind of important in the Zoro storyline, so that's okay. I don't mind that. I kind of wish we were getting more of the mains first, but she should still be good. Here we have Shanks. This one I'm very excited about, especially since we get to see him painted up. He looks great. I don't know about the One Piece style leg hair, but I guess it does give him a little bit of realism, at least in terms of the anime look. So very cool. Hopefully they handle that cape appropriately because they haven't done the best with that kind of thing, but he does look really nice. And then lastly, we have the pre-time skip Zoro, which is my favorite character and my favorite look for him. I really wish it was painted, but man, I cannot wait to get this guy. He looks like he's going to be loaded with articulation, and I really have he shouldn't have any problems anyway. Hopefully they don't screw anything up, but it looks like they're on the right track, so I'm super pumped for this Past Blue batch of figures. Very exciting. Here you can see the re-edit Iron Man. This is the Thor Buster. Is that what it is? Not Thor Buster. Which one is this? House of M. This is House of M Iron Man, not Thor Buster. I don't know what I'm talking about. But oh my goodness, look how shiny and metallic it is. That thing looks awesome. I'm sure it's going to cost a fortune, but it looks like a really, really cool figure. So if you guys are into these re-edit designs, or maybe just the House of M Iron Man design, or Iron Man in general, or import figures, they're pretty solid figures. I did review the War Machine in the past, and I liked it a whole bunch. This guy should be even better than that. So it's very exciting if you're an Iron Man collector. The next one we have is just a new Iron Man from Re-Edit, which looks like it's mostly War Machine, just in the red and gold, and he's got some giant cannons on his back. Well, you can't go wrong with that. That red and gold is just superb. It looks so good. I may have to pick that up just to have, because that thing is definitely going to be eye candy on the shelf. It's very cool looking, so hopefully I get one. I don't know. We'll see. Here you can see the PlayArts Kai variant, Doctor Strange, which looks mostly just like Doctor Strange. There's not a whole lot they did for this guy, but I suppose that's okay, and if you're a Doctor Strange fan or a fan of PlayArts Kai variants, then this is probably one for you. Now, you guys know my history with PlayArts Kai. I generally want to like the line, but they've just not given me much reason to of late, so I don't know. I was going to stop collecting altogether for the PlayArts figures, but then Wolverine and Deadpool, I'm like, I have to at least review them and then maybe sell them off. These guys might fall in the same boat. I really don't want to pay $150 for these guys. I don't think they're worth it, but Maybe just to review them for you guys, I'll do it. I don't know. Don't hold me to it. Especially since we now have the variant Magneto, which some people are saying looks fantastic. Some people are saying it looks like poop. I'm kind of in the middle. It depends how it's going to be painted, much like Wolverine. His chest is awfully weird shaped with that third peck in the middle there. I don't know if they needed that. They probably could have gone a little bit more classic, but he is super bulky, which gives me a very Jim Lee vibe, so I do like that. But I'm also not feeling the leg design. There's a lot about this guy that's really weird, and the cape, I don't know. This one's going to be really, really iffy, so it really depends on the paint, and if I decide to spend the money just to give you guys a review, because I really can't afford to buy things just to review, but I might do it for a couple of them. Here we have some more variants from Nomura, which are Joker and Harley Quinn, and these are part of their transformation line, in which the figures transform in some way. So on this one, you have Joker in this wheelchair and Harley Quinn pushing him. They're separate figures. And Joker's wheelchair, I guess, can transform. And they say in the little cards that you can see on the other case, and so here we have Joker with his wheelchair more like a Dr. Octopus style thing. It's turned into tentacles. And Harley Quinn just looks like she has all kinds of armor on her. So I'm not sure if she just has armor that snaps on or what, because it doesn't look like she has, I mean, she's almost not wearing anything. So I don't know about her transformation, but you can see Joker has all kinds of heads and stuff, so it might be a cool line of figures, even though maybe not for me. The Figma Dark Souls figure was announced. Obviously, we don't have anything but the card, but I know that's kind of interesting because they don't generally do a lot of figures in this style, this kind of medieval thing. They've done a few for Berserk, but that's about it. Not too much. So this thing will be pretty interesting. I'm kind of looking forward to see how they execute it. We also have Red, the Pokemon trainer, which is very cool. I know a lot of people are going to want to grab this guy just to have in their Nintendo display. You could throw him in the Smash Brothers display if you wanted to. It wouldn't be totally out of line. So again, we just have the card, nothing to see, so they have plenty of opportunity to screw stuff up, but hopefully they don't do that. You can see we also are starting to see some Overwatch figures. We're going to start off with Genji and Tracer, it looks like. I'll show you Tracer in just a second. But Genji, well, what you should know about Overwatch is they're very kind of like animated style, Pixar-esque, realistic type characters, lots of detail, but still kind of cartoony, and that should fit Figma perfectly. So I'm very excited about that. Lots of bright colors, lots of fun, and then there's Tracer. So as long as they don't screw anything up terribly, these are going to be very successful figures. It's hard to screw up a great character design, and Blizzard makes some really great character designs, and I love Overwatch, so you might want to check those out. You might also want to check out my Overwatch live streams, shameless plug. Next up, we have the new Samus, which is a total rework from the prototype they originally showed, which looked like total crap. Now, here's the interesting thing about this. At two different places, we saw two different looks. We have this look, which looks super good, super great. It's very light, kind of pale colored from Prime Fusion, or Prime, whatever Prime 3 was called. It looks just like that, and it looks great. And then we have this one, which is a little bit more saturated, slightly different color palette. Not so sure what's going on. This looks like it has a lot more of the Super Metroid color scheme, which I don't think was in Prime 3. I'm pretty sure it had that more goldish color. So I'm kind of curious how it's going to turn out. Neither of them may be indicative of the final release, but they both look awesome regardless. We also got to see some King of Fighters figures coming from NECA, and these guys look really good. Now, I have no interest personally in King of Fighters, but I do have an interest in cool figures, and these guys fit that bill perfectly. This guy's got a nice fire accessory, a jacket, which appears to have really good articulation underneath. It should be a really solid figure, so if you're a KOF fan, this is going to be for you. And this one's even more better. It's a more better figure. It's really cool looking. Look at that purple accessory. The character design is awesome, and it looks like Figma's going to be really successful with it, except for maybe the hips. That white part of his shirt looks like it might be holding those hips back. So hopefully they can execute that, and otherwise it's going to be a really good figure. Here we have one that I'm not familiar with at all. It's from something called Gravity Days, but I thought it looked nice, and I think a lot of you guys are going to be interested in it because it's kind of a cool looking character with a lady not wearing very many clothes, and it's got some flowy hair and stuff, so it's going to be a cool shelf piece, and if you're familiar with it, you're probably excited. I'm not, but I thought some of you might be, so that's why it's here. And here we have the Grand Order version of Saber. So the last Saber, the 2.0, was a really solid figure. Even the 1.0, I liked it. I think it didn't necessarily need an update, but the update was great. So if they continue those kind of things in this figure, it's going to be a must-have for the Grand Order fans. You're going to have to get this. It's a really good one. And we finally get to see the Deadpool, which I have to say, it doesn't look anywhere near as good as it should at this point. It's very likely that it could be like the Samus figure, that it gets reworked a whole bunch, but right now he's really skinny looking, his torso is really long, and his proportions are weird. They need to bulk up his chest and his thighs, and even his upper arms. I don't know about it so far. We have a Nendoroid Ash figure with maybe Pikachu, maybe it'll be included, we don't know. But that's cool for Nendoroid fans. This is going to be one you're going to want to have. If you're a Pokemon fan, it's going to be one of the few Ash figures that are actually worth having, probably. So I'm looking forward to see what they do with it. Could be cool. I don't think I'll buy it personally, but I think a lot of you guys will probably like it. And in the same vein, they've also shown a Pikachu card, which Pikachu, it's going to be hard to make him a Nendo because he's got that big butt and a skinny torso, relatively speaking, and a big head. So I don't know how they're going to be able to put that together and make it look right, but if they do, it's going to sell like hotcakes because everybody's into Pokemon again, so that's a pretty cool thing. And here we can see Edward Elric in Nendoroid stylings, and that's going to sell like crazy. People love Fullmetal Alchemist with good reason. It's a fantastic anime. I'm assuming the manga's good also. And this figure looks great. It's almost not even a Nendo. It's got a big head, but the rest of the body is just loaded with details, so that's very exciting. And of course, if you have Edward Elric, you also need Alphonse, and Alphonse really doesn't even have Nendo styling other than he's kind of short. He looks really good, so that'll be a nice addition to the collection, especially since we don't have enough figures from Fullmetal Alchemist. What's up with that? We need more. So if you're a Fullmetal Alchemist fan, you have to pick these up. We get more Overwatch figures with the Nendoroid Mercy and May, which apparently Good Smile is just going to go ham with the Overwatch license, which is fine with me because it does suit them, and they generally put out pretty good quality figures, even if they're not perfect. I think it's a good way to get more figures out of Overwatch, so it'll have to do for now. And we also get Tracer, which we've seen, and she's already been up for pre-order, so I didn't want to talk about her too much, but I figured in case you missed it, we'll show you here. Unfortunately, Tracer doesn't really fit the Nendoroid styling. She's super tall and slender, but it's still a pretty cool looking figure. So if you're into Overwatch, these are ones you're going to want to pick up. An interesting thing I noticed was another Nendoroid Kirby. Now, I don't have anything on this guy other than this image, which doesn't have anything for me to read on it, really. But it looks to me like the Nendo Kirby, but it's blue this time and has some kind of crown, which is clearly not painted at this point. So another Kirby? I don't know. Could be cool. The last Kirby was pretty awesome. And here you can see, this isn't an import, this is the Jax Link, but I wanted to put it in here because it's kind of like imports, it's compared to them. It does look like they're moving in the right direction for the new Link figure. Jax does not have a lot of articulation or a lot of great paints, but they're generally a good value, so I figured I'd let you guys know that this one is on the horizon. Now, very exciting for me is what we saw from Storm Collectibles. They had two things that were of particular note. The first is just their banner, which shows Chun-Li and a bearded Ryu. But they showed the bearded Ryu, so we'll talk about that in a second, but we haven't seen Chun-Li yet, so it's very exciting to see how they're going to handle the female figures. I'm very, very excited about this because so far their figures have, while not been completely perfect, they're almost as close to perfect as you can get, so it's very exciting. First of all, I want to show you the color variant of M. Bison in his green look, and he just looks fantastic. And you get another look at the blue Ryu there, but that's nothing new, so I can't wait to get Bison in my hands. He looks like he might be the best one of the bunch, and then the green color variant's just going to be even nicer because it pops, and it's, I don't know, I'm a sucker for Street Fighter and color variants, and I love it. And here's bearded Ryu, mostly regular Ryu with a couple of different sculpted details with some scars and a beard and some extra torn pants and wrapped hands and a wrap around his arm, and more Ryu, more Street Fighter from Storm Collectibles. I'll take it. Gimme, gimme, gimme. I want these figures. They're just doing such a good job. I'll take anything they can give us. We get to see a color variant for Ken also, which is the blue version. I have to say I'm still not sold on Ken's look, mostly because of his hair. But, you know, whatever. The figure looks like it's going to be just as good as Ryu, so that's exciting. And the Ken figure will be out pretty soon, so that's exciting also. And more color variants means more figures for me, so I'm excited about that. And then, lastly, for the Street Fighter figures, we did get a look at Zangief, even though his pre-orders are already up, and I've already talked about him a little bit on Facebook and Twitter. He looks great. There are a couple tweaks I'm hoping they change, and I've even passed those along, so that hopefully they can do that, but even if they don't, this guy looks great. He's massive. He's like 9 inches tall almost, something like that. He's super bulky, and then comes with a bunch of accessories. You can see he's got the little swoosh effects for the lariat, a bunch of different hands, alternate heads. He's definitely going to be the best Zangief figure ever. That's not saying a whole lot, but it is happening. So Again, very, very exciting times for us collectors. We're getting a lot of good stuff out of this toy fair. We did get to see Shao Kahn again, and they did show him with his throne again. I don't have any official word on if he's coming with the throne, but if he's not, I'll be very disappointed. But even if he doesn't, he looks like he's going to be a great figure. He's already really big and bulky, but look at all the details. This guy's going to be great, throne or no throne, but the throne would be pretty nice. We got to see Reptile, which is mostly a repaint of Sub-Zero and Scorpion. He has these little goo balls for his hands and a lizard-like head, but hopefully, and this is what's going to be not a deal breaker, but something I really want, we need the ninja head. For me, the ninja head is going to make it. I hope that's included, and fingers crossed. Otherwise, it looks great, though. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Those are all of the import figures that I thought were particularly interesting and that you guys might like to see. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. Which ones are you excited for? Which ones do you think are no good? And we'll talk about it. So thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I have new videos up every single day. We talk about action figures, movies, TV shows, video games, and all kinds of fun stuff. So make sure you turn on notifications and come back for all of that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.